this morning. And joining us here on the Morning Zoo is Paw, Chief of Police, Eric Rottman. Eric, thanks for joining us. And you just got back from vacation, and this was on your schedule to chat with us. So hopefully we didn't add too much to the list of duties for the day today.
Yeah, morning. Nope, you did not.
All right, that's good. Well, I think a lot of people know about what happened on July 14th, but we're going to get them up to speed. And then also go back in history just a little bit as well, back to July of 2023, because somehow you tend to be at the right place at the right time. And on July 14th, that was no different. You were at Stearns Beach, and I'll kind of lay down the foundation a little bit, but would love for you to fill in some of the gaps there. You were at Stearns Beach in Ludington, and there was an individual that had technically drowned, but was brought back to life by your CPR efforts and others surrounding you. She was in the water. She was dragged onto the beach, and you went into life-saving measures to bring this individual back to life, and you were able to. She was transported to Corewell Health, which eventually flew her to Grand Rapids to receive additional medical measures. But she was in critical condition, and just last week she was released from the hospital. And I would hope that you can agree, she is alive because of you and because of those others that stepped in. Is that a fair assessment? Can you take that and say, you know what, we were able to save this girl's life?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment. I'd like to say if we weren't there, others would have jumped in, but certainly we played a large part in that. And very happy that she's out of the hospital and back home now.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a team effort between myself and others, including my sister-in-law. So.
And this was it was interesting because you were, and I say this at the right place at the right time, because time matters. We always hear about that. Being able to understand and perform life-saving measures in the proper way, that matters. Uh, do you believe in that kind of stuff where you're at the right place at the right time?
Yeah, I would dare say in at least a couple of occasions have been at the right place at the right time, and not just myself, but others,
Yeah.
including my family members. So,
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because your sister-in-law was with you.
yes, Audra Mueller. Yeah, she was with us there in the 14th, and she jumped right in and helped with CPR. She works at Bronson Hospital, so she's very familiar with how to do that, and was very instrumental in, helping out and bringing the young lady back. So.
We won't ask too many detailed questions about the life-saving measure, because that's something that depending on the emotional state of the victim and as well the first responders in that particular moment, and the days and the weeks afterwards, that can affect somebody for a long period of time. But as a law enforcement member, as the chief of police of Paw, as a first responder, um, you know, what goes through your mind, though, when you are put in a situation that this person is in front of you? You've got to do something to make sure that they continue to live their life. What goes through your mind?
Well, I would say in the moment, such as, what happened on the 14th, there's not much that goes through your mind other than, you just kind of go into automatic mode. You see somebody that needs help, you run out there. And you know what to do, you just start doing it. So you don't think about a lot of other things other than what has to be done in the moment. And you just get it done and, do what you have to do. And sometimes you think about it afterwards, and that's usually when you think about it. But in the moment, you're just, forefront of your mind is, what do I need to do to help this person, to, whether it's CPR or something else. And that's what you're concentrating on. You're not thinking about a lot of other things. And
Yeah.
Some of the other things that took place, calling 911, things like that, were all handled by other people, some of my other family members, things like that. So those are the things I didn't have to worry about. And my sister-in-law and I can just focus on helping her.
Ludington is not new to you, though. You have been visiting and staying in Ludington for how many years now?
It's probably been about 25. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been a lot of years. My family used to have a place on Hamlin Lake. So we've been going up there for many, many years.
So not familiar. You're familiar with the area. You're familiar with the beach, and obviously the first responders quick to act and get there to help Chelsea and save her life. You are. I'll say it this way: you're not new to talking about something that was a drowning or a potential drowning at Stearns Beach, because as we rewind, as we go back in time to 2023, it was almost about a week and a half between this year and then 2 years ago that you helped bring people ashore and save their life in almost a similar manner. Can you take us through that, and then we'll talk about how these kind of work together, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We've been going to Ludington all those years and nothing exciting had happened. And then just about 2 years ago, almost to the day, we were standing on the breakwater and there was a rip current. Two young boys were in the rip current and their mom was looking over, kind of looking at them concerned. And the boys were, yelling at her and she just yelled out, "Somebody help them. They're being taken out by the rip current, by the break wall there." And I just jumped in. After she jumped in, dragged one of the boys out to where he could touch, told him to go to shore, and then went back for the mom and the younger boy. And the mom was actually starting to go under. So my sister-in-law, Megan Stife, at that point threw some life jackets out. I got one under her arms. I was able to get her and the younger child out where they could touch. And then my wife and I were able to carry her up to shore. But she was very, very close, I would say, to going under. So, and drowning, but she ended up getting transported to the hospital also on that incident. So
Yeah. So you saved lives at the same beach 2 years ago. You did it again this year. Has anybody approached you about being a lifeguard at Stearns Beach at all, or anything like that on your off-duty times?
no, they have not. So
Well, I can tell you that I'm sure that as the community has mentioned, when we posted about the story of this happening, there was a lot of people that commented about praying for the victim, praying for the first responders. We had an individual who brought it to light. His name is Jake, and he mentioned about connecting these two stories, something that we didn't know initially, that recognized that your name was part of this 2 years ago, and then again this time. What sort of feedback has your family members, your coworkers? What do they say? And I understand, and I think a lot of the community members understand, is that when you are in law enforcement, when you are a first responder, you're saving lives every day, nearly every day. But sometimes in a remote community like Ludington, where somebody from Paw Paw, 2 hours away, is there to help somebody, that kind of comes up to a higher level of recognition, I guess it would be. And so, what is that? What has those conversations been like?
I think some those conversations are in amazement. They're surprised that it's happened twice. And I think, a lot of my family was there, so they kind of experienced it. I think some of it is just, you kind of said it. We're in law enforcement or public safety. It's, we're kind of ready all the time. It's what we do. So I don't necessarily think. I think some of it afterwards kind of hits you. And it's like, hey, this happened. We saved your life, and that's what some people say to me. They're like, hey, just glad you were there. Right time, right place. I was able to actually go up and visit her at the hospital, which was very nice. Met her dad, and very appreciative, obviously. So I think for this instance, a lot of it's just amazement that it happened twice in 2 years. We're just very happy with the outcome that we were there. My sister-in-law and I were there to be able to give CPR and be able to help her. So.
Do you think that if we can transition just a little bit, and I want to come back to this conversation more in depth as well, but do you think that when we hear about somebody that is not breathing, that needs CPR, that we're obviously thinking that that person, and she was very much in a bad situation, but from your standpoint, are you thinking, okay, we can get this person back to breathing. We can get this person to a level where the other first responders can take over. Because when we think about somebody being, from a public standpoint, not a first responders, somebody that is a bystander, that somebody hears about this, we think for our first thoughts are this person came out of Lake Michigan. They were not breathing. They were in critical condition. And when you hear just that, you kind of think the worst. But can you, from your standpoint, think, okay, don't think the worst? Does that make sense to ask that question and kind of look at it from your perspective?
Yeah, I think it does. Obviously, we determined quickly that she had not been under the water very long, which is always a benefit. So we knew that was going for her. Also, there's different things that go into like age, things like that. But certainly, no matter what, knowing CPR is a good thing to have. An individual by the name of Bill, I didn't catch his last name, from Fort Wayne, helped me carry her out of the lake. And he made the comment, he said, as soon as I get back to Fort Wayne, I'm going to go take a CPR class.
Yeah.
Which, I think it's a very beneficial skill for everyone to have, because you never know when you could use it, which we obviously saw on the 14th. But yeah, I mean, there's some factors that go into it, but I think the biggest thing is, you just get in there, you do what you can do, you try your best, and, you always hope for the best outcome. So.
And the best outcome came from this. So she obviously released from the hospital. I'm not going to I'm not going to ask you about your conversations with her or anything like that. But I will say that we have something for you, because her sister reached out. And in her conversation with her sister and us at the radio station, and I think Monica is making her way into your office here. Monica has something for you.
It's actually my lieutenant. So.
Oh, your lieutenant. And if you could show that to the camera for those that are viewing, this is on appreciation from her family and the community members in the Ludington area. Thank you for doing that for you as a life-saving member of the community. You've saved multiple lives, not only on a daily basis, but also multiple lives there at Stearns Beach in Ludington. And so when her sister had communicated with us, she said something. She said, I wish we could give him an award. And so we talked to her, and we said, we'll kind of take that up on our efforts here at the radio station, and with your team down there, Monica and obviously your lieutenant and others, they were able to make it happen. And we just wanted to say thank you for being a hero to Chelsea and to others that you continue to save lives. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That means a lot to have that. I really appreciate that. So
you're welcome, man. So go ahead.
I said I was glad I could be there at the right time. So
you were. And what is your message, if you don't mind, to Chelsea this morning, to community members, to those about water safety? If there's anything that comes to mind that can help, reassure people that the first responders are there to help. Community members step up in multiple ways. But what is your message this morning?
I'd say, as it relates to water safety, obviously on the 14th, the lake was calm. So even when the lake is calm, it can be dangerous. And certainly know your swimming ability, know what you're capable of, And then for bystanders, people in the community, if you see somebody that needs help, don't be afraid to jump in. Sometimes a lot of people are hesitant to do that, but don't be afraid to do that. So we can all help. We can all lend a hand when needed. But yeah, certainly for water safety, know your abilities, know the conditions at the lake, and always be aware of, how good of a swimmer you are, how tired you are, where you're at on the beach. Don't go out too far. So.
Yeah, yeah, and summer's not over yet, so making sure we adhere to those safety practices crucially important. And we're glad that Chelsea is alive today. We're glad that she's out of the hospital. We're glad that the individuals that you saved just 2 years ago, everybody's doing good because of your hands, because of your sister-in-law, because of others. Bill, as you mentioned in Fort Wayne, and I didn't know that about him mentioning wanting to take up CPR training. But you know what? If that's the ability to help him save additional lives, then there's always good that comes from this, isn't there?
Yep. Nope. I agree 100%.
Well, Chief Rottman, we appreciate you taking some time with us today, and hopefully you'll be able to display that award and recognition somewhere to just give you a reminder that no matter what uniform you're wearing, or jeans or shorts, or on the beach, or on patrol, that you are a hero, and you're a hero among us. And so we want to just thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It is 102.7 WMOM and Hot Country